This morning I woke up and all my XRP's been stolen, been hacked.
A number of incidents over the recent years have highlighted the vulnerabilities of the crypto asset ecosystem.
You name it, the issuers are filing to launch these things. But as you mentioned, the government's in a shutdown. So I don't think anything new is going to come to market while the government is shut down. That's my current expectations.
To be honest, they might ask about XRP. That's probably the only other one that they ask about because the XRP army is so freaking loud.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all them empty.
Some people are saying that we're headed up, but some say we might have one more move down. What are your thoughts down below? We're also going to be checking out someone in the XRP community who had over 1 million XRP stolen off their cold storage. How did it happen and how you can protect your XRP. We got one from Subject Views to pop off. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee. And always, none of this in this video is financial advice. At the G30, the 40th annual international seminar, they're telling a room full of global bankers that interlinkages between crypto and the traditional financial system continues to grow.
A further example that I can mention in this context is the regulation of crypto assets and stablecoins. It has also been mentioned earlier this morning, where I believe also that we are fast approaching a tipping point. With the introduction of the crypto ETFs, the barriers for retail users have now dropped significantly, and interlinkages with the traditional financial system continue to grow. A number of incidents over the recent years have highlighted the vulnerabilities of the crypto asset ecosystem. And these vulnerabilities also require a consistent international regulatory approach based on the principle of same activity, same risk, same regulation. If we do not work together in this space, then what we risk is a race to the bottom dynamic, where crypto dealers and stablecoin issuers might be located in the least regulated regions, but spark problems elsewhere in the world.
We got a couple from XIF Crypto. 150 plus digital asset ETF waiting for approval, says James. They mentioned XRP and Solana ETFs are part of the next wave coming soon.
There's like 35 different assets that have been filed for. So I mean, some of them are leveraged, some of them are inverse. Like you name it, the issuers are filing to launch these things. But as you mentioned, the government's in a shutdown. So I don't think anything new is going to come to market while the government is shut down. That's my current expectations. I guess anything could happen because technically the rules are if the SEC doesn't stop you within 75 days. We can get into the weeds there if we really want. But basically the new rules are basically if the SEC signs off on things or doesn't stop you, you can launch the product within 75 days of filing. Realistically, there's only 9-ish assets they're going to get approved before the end of 2025 that meet these new generic listing standards for like traditional spot products. But there's other ways to get around and launch these pseudo products that are almost like spot or are leverage or use derivatives and things like that to provide exposure in ETF wrapper. But as you said, I don't think any of those things are likely going to launch while the government is shut down.
Yeah. Do you think that these ETFs, which historically have had a significant impact on the crypto markets and have seen incredible inflows, do you think with the recent uprising of digital asset treasury companies in this publicly listed format, because now those are sort of in the spotlight and you can get exposure through these DATs, do you think we're going to see a little bit less anticipation and excitement around the ETFs when they do inevitably go live?
Yeah, I mean, so I have a few thoughts here, right? Like the long tail of assets, I mentioned there's 30 plus assets that are filed for ETFs. Some have like 20 plus filings related to them, like Solana and XRP and other Bitcoin and Ethereum products. I think the longer tail of assets are of assets like specific digital currencies. They're probably not going to get a ton of interest, right? Like just because you launch like the 47th largest digital asset in an ETF wrapper doesn't mean that this asset's going to take off because it simply has an ETF. I mean, if you look at the Bitcoin ETFs, part of the reason they did so well is because there was so much pent up demand. And when they launched, Bitcoin was roaring, right? Like it launched into early January and everyone was expecting it. A lot of money poured in. Initially, it was actually kind of a sell the news event. But long term, money kept pouring in and it was a positive thing for the space. Ethereum is the opposite. For the first 5 months of its launch, they had net outflows for Ethereum ETFs because, market had dumped. It was in the summer. There wasn't a lot of demand. It came too quickly after the Bitcoin ETF launched. The narratives weren't clear. But then Trump got elected and it took off. And it's just another avenue for people to play the space, particularly TradFi types of people. So I think the same thing could happen for these other assets. So I think things like Solana and XRP, we know there's pent up demand there.
Another one from XIF. They laugh and call it just another layer on, but deep down they now love it or hate it. XRP moves markets.
Tuned in a little bit. They don't generally ask about other specific assets. To be honest, they might ask about XRP. That's probably the only other one that they ask about because the XRP army is so freaking loud on socials and everywhere. It's insane. And XRP to 10,000 makes zero sense, but for whatever reason, there's like thousands of influencers who post it every day. It's insane.
That is very.
November 14th will be a defining moment for the XRP ledger. I'm on by.
We obviously have a big deadline coming up, which is November 2025, which is the end of the coexistence period. And then after that, then banks and FIs will be expected to be able to both send and receive messages in ISO 20022 format as an alternative to traditional MT and MX messages.
Flare Networks, everyone's been asking what comes after XRP on Flare Networks. Here's Hugo's take on the podcast with Kevin, WSH Pod. What assets do you think belong on Flare?
What's the next big ecosystem that you intend to help or work with after XRP and why?
So I'm looking for things that add value to both XRP and to Flare. Complementary assets. So, I think the logical place to start is Bitcoin. I'm not sure if it will be the next ecosystem we support just because the engineering for it is harder, is lengthy. There's some lower hanging fruit, for instance, Litecoin or Dogecoin that might be easier. But Bitcoin is a good one. I think having XRP and Bitcoin both available in the DeFi ecosystem on Flare, together with stable coins and all the other derivative coins and staking coins, we should discuss XRP staking. It's kind of like the biggest, what I think is the biggest reason to come to Flare if you're not that familiar with DeFi. But I think having XRP and Bitcoin on the same chain, traded against each other, borrowed, lended against each other, both usable in perps dexes as margin. I think this makes for an interesting ecosystem.
Tell me about this XRP staking.
So one of the things, we realized was that just offering cookie cutter DeFi protocols that are drawn from other ecosystems, yes, they're absolutely useful, but we wanted to create a protocol that effectively, XRP has very large distribution to non-degens. And in fact, the whole industry is going the same way, which is basically, how do I put my money somewhere and it make me money, but me not have to worry about it? That's particularly useful with XRP because the distribution is very wide and the distribution is perhaps less familiar with DeFi than other ecosystems.
Here we got Brandon LaRoque. He says he just had over $3 million worth of XRP stolen off his cold wallet.
This morning I woke up and all my XRP's been stolen, been hacked. They apparently, I don't check my wallet every day. I watch the price 24 hours a day, but I don't check my wallet every day. And I guess the last time I checked it was Saturday, and I checked it this morning at 4:30, and it looks like on Sunday morning somebody removed 10 XRP, then they removed 2 minutes later, around 11:15 Eastern time, they removed 10 XRP, and then a couple of minutes later they removed another 1,990,000 XRP. They sent it to one wallet that had just been created a few minutes earlier, and then they turned around and sent all that 1,290,000, they sent it out to about 30 different wallets. They sent it out, some in groups of 40,000, some in groups of 38,000 to different wallets. And then when it went to those wallets, they sent it out to more wallets. So, I mean, I don't know, I didn't get an exact count, but I guess it's somewhere between 500 and 900 wallets. I guess it's called mixing or something, that's my understanding. I haven't slept all night, that's why I'm probably not making a whole lot of sense. The reason I'm doing this video is because I follow people like DAI and Digital Perspectives and James Rule and all those guys. I follow all those guys. Love them. They do a great job. And DAI and digital spread have really been talking. And I know that, you know, they get paid, but they're also clients, but they're right. We have to have custody. I mean, I don't have anything with Caleb or Brown. I've never even know anything about it. I just know what I heard on there. I don't have any crypto to custody with them anymore because I just lost it all. On that wallet, I had a little bit of XLM, about $1,000 worth. I don't know why they left that. I had a couple of different things, like a little bit of Flare, maybe about $900 worth of Flare, and a couple of things like that I got in airdrops. And they left that, but they took the big boy. I mean, they left about, you know, $2,800 worth of crypto, and then they took about $3 million. That was our whole retirement for my wife and I don't know what we're going to do. I guess we're going to go back to work. I mean, fortunately, I did diversify into some metals, which thank God I did. Nowhere near anything like what I had in crypto. Crypto was supposed to be the touchdown. I don't even know what to say or what to do. I started Googling about it. The first thing it said,
Says this morning he found out that over 1.2 million XRP stolen off his alley pal. We got a post here from James Rule. The guy that claims he lost 3 million XRP is shilling a new YouTube channel focusing on gold and silver. Be careful out there. James Rule is recommending not to add a hot wallet app with seed recovery phrases, etc. Create a brand new wallet. Also, another way to keep your crypto safe is don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your wallets. Alipal, Ledger, DCENT, Tangent. We got Atom XLM to $8. Thoughts down below. Altcoins are entering the decision zone, long-term consolidation. Everyone's bored. Then boom, the breakout always comes after the peaked out. Ignore the noise. The chart screams. Alt season is coming, so load up while you still have some time. We got one from Eggrad Crypto, 3-day time frame before the symmetrical triangle throwback of the breakout retest turned out to be a typical failure. While our bias leaned towards the upside, the potential for a breakout failure was always there. After key levels to watch, critical support, no closure below 220 on the 3-day time frame is acceptable. Bullish, the signal close above 255 to the 265 on the 3-day time frame would be a strong bullish signal. New all-time high trigger. If we break above 320, 340, then we're on our way to new all-time high. Stay strong, stay ready, stay safe. And mustache altcoins. Did you know that before the altcoin bull run in 2020, we also saw a liquidation counter before it started? Same thing has happened again. They're trying to shake you up by any means necessary, but the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP. Rich list, top 10% holder, 2,346 XRP. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in for another one. Make sure to drop an elbow from the top ropes on that likey button to boost those algorithms. We'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Accumulation is the only way to go. See you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
I've got one that can see. Eating all these bags like a black hole, rounding up some more like a lasso. We was getting turned extra bullish at the last show. Spaceship getting heavy with the last load, knowing that the pump coming soon in this blast mode. R.I.P. peace to the chateaus. Fuzzers they was hitting cause of Clayton they was knocking, trying to get inside of the castle. Rockets loading up, battle blast off the gravel. Told you get your ticket but you missed out on the raffle. SEC a bunch of lies, what a bunch of assholes. But that rocket reignited like a gas stove. Ready to flip the switch, then we blast mode in another orbit like an astro. All them times it was talking ish turned to a fiasco. Fortune to the beast, feel like Mozart playing the piano. Rob Nichols and back.